Having your own startup is extremely hard, and we know that. It is stressful, it is time consuming, and you may feel like you're running on fumes sometimes. Failure after failure after failure, you never give up. And why? Because you want to win. You want that knowledge. You want that improvement. You want to improve. And that's why you're here. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to conduct a business in a foreign country, how to manage your foreign employees, how to manage your foreign relations, and how to have a solid business plan, and how to face challenges online, and much more. So for that, we have invited a special guest. He is the CEO of Eikone Pvt Ltd, Mr. Diwakar Ravichandran. Welcome to Ceylon Master Mind.
Thank you for having me in your show.
Yeah. So, Mr. Diwakar, how everything started? What is your story?
Actually, everything started in 2022.
Yeah.
So I was a key accounts manager. I was working for a similar kind of business and similar kind of firm for almost 2.5 years. So when I was working there and for a time of 2.5 years, I got like a setback in the sense thinking about future and what is next. If I'm actually getting a salary of 60,000 per month and yearly, whether I'm able to sustain myself for the future. So the doubt that I have made me rethink my life choices. So for that, actually, I had to come up with a plan to actually, for my problem, I need a solution.
Yeah.
So for that scenario, what I did was I spoke to one of my colleagues, couple of colleagues, and we had an idea to start a small business.
Yeah.
So the first initial business we have started, it's called Cloud Kitchen,
Which
is exactly correct. So which we started in Vattala. Name was Eikone Foods. That was the name of the smaller cloud kitchen actually. So it was running smoothly for 1.5 months, and then it got really bad after the Sri Lankan economic crisis. So people were like staying the lines to buy products, and we couldn't able to get certain like products from our vendors in time. So for that, we couldn't able to sustain it. So there was losses. So for that, we have decided to close down that business. And then sometimes afterwards, I have decided basically, and I told my colleagues that why don't we start what we learned from our previous firm and start it on our own. So initially they have agreed and signed up for it. But later, actually, unfortunately, they couldn't able to continue with me because of their personal reason. But I saw the bigger picture there. When I saw the bigger picture, I stood tall and I stayed there. And I worked bit by bit, learned new things bit by bit, did everything bit by bit from their growth, what I saw. And now I have able to establish a private office, and I'm having employees to work in this firm. So that is my story has been so far.
So self-reflection, adaptation, and self-improvement.
Exactly.
That's how your life means.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Eikone Pvt Ltd, what is the purpose? What is the end goal of your company?
Our end goal is actually to be the top education marketing firm in UK. That is our first firm's actually plan and vision.
Yeah.
And my vision, I want to start a business in each field.
Yeah.
That is my ultimate goal, actually. That is my passion. That's what I'm working towards. So I have started one and able to build it. Yeah. Now I have to build others step by step. Yeah. So we are in the process of making it in other healthcare and the IT sectors as well. So hopefully in coming years, we will be establishing in that areas as well. So that is my vision and our Econ admissions vision as well when it comes to London area. So each field has its own vision. So all you have to do is work towards it and establish it.
Your first startup has failed.
Yeah.
Okay? And you learned a lot from it.
Yeah.
So you made some connections throughout the process of that startup.
Yeah.
In that time. So after a while, what is the thinking process to start another new business, another new firm, another new startup? What is the thinking process behind it?
The first business got failed. I got really disappointed and went through some like self-doubt.
Yeah.
Whether I be able to do it again.
Yeah.
Whether I'll be able to sustain myself.
Yeah.
Whether I'll be financially freedom. Because for the first startup business, I invested my money into it. That means my savings. So whether I'll be able to take the risk again. So these kind of doubts will come to your mind again, and it will disturb you. So overcoming that is one of the main things that you have to do that. And when it comes to a team, you have to keep the team sustainable for the second business as well. But unfortunately, it didn't happen for my case because their plans and their future and everything has a different purposes. So for that, I could not able to keep them with me. So the second business wise, it came out of nowhere because it's sometimes a calling. You never know. It's a calling actually that you've been doing that for a very long time. So you become automatically an expert. If you are working towards a particular skill, if you are doing it over and over and again for a long time, you will master it. So similar like that, when I worked in that firm, I was able to master certain skills for 2.5, 3 years. So in this time, when I learned and improved on it, so that skill helped me to start a new business when the calling came in. Calling the sense, it might be anything, but it's a feeling that you have. That feeling will come to you. And when it comes, you have to take action based on it. And if you're the only person working towards it, work on it. Don't wait for others because no one's going to help you. You are the only one who has to do it. So when you do it, automatically you can see the results. And then the failure, then we started the new company. When I started the new company, I did each part, which is operations, HR, then apart from that, sales, marketing. So I talked to a lot of people, a lot of companies in US, UK, India. So a lot of people actually advised me in certain things, marketing, HR, operations wise. So I was able to get the idea from them and establish my own systems for my requirement. So we build a perfect system from point A to point B, which is actually easy for my requirement and my customer's journey. So from there, when I'm able to create a proper system, it was helpful for me to run the business actually successfully and meet my clients' requirements. So that is the important thing what I did after the failure. I went through the disappointing phase. And from the disappointing phase, I understood that all I have is me. And from there, I just proceeded further. It's each problem when it came, I just find a solution one after another. So once I find the solution, ultimately, I was able to build the proper system, proper clients actually requirements have been met, and build the firm.
Yeah. So, as you were saying, when you're doing a job, you're basically paid to get learned.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when you look at the job as in a perspective like that, you feel more drive to learn.
Exactly.
Yeah. Not for the money, but to learn and apply it in the future.
Exactly.
And the other thing is, Mr. Devon, as you were saying, making a proper system. Can you elaborate it more? How to conduct a proper business system?
You have to look into the small details.
Small details.
Each details matters.
Yeah.
From now, let's say a client is coming to you for their requirement.
Yeah.
You have to know where to begin and where to end without any stopping. So if there's any kind of problems come in, actually, you need to find a proper alternative solution. So before building the right process, you have to make research and analyze about the current market trends, what's happening in the market. So after doing this, the second phase is going to be planning. You have to make the financial planning and research, and you have to build the proper adaptable system based on it. So the customer journey is what I'm referring to as your question and the answer for it. So the journey, what we build, that means point to details from one end to another end without any struggle, assisting them and assisting throughout the process is what I say as a proper planning in organization. So that's what I have built it in my firm, because my firm is all about UK clients, who are people who are mainly in UK and Europeans. So people who actually, have the residency there, we assess them throughout the process. So that's my requirement. I create the system and build it step by step, because from executive to manager, I have learned everything. So I know each loopholes, each problematic scenario. So when you created that, automatically it'll be a smooth process for you.
So basically, the summary of it is build a system thinking about every loophole and every small detail.
Exactly.
And then after the system is been properly introduced, you must employ people and teach them about this system.
Exactly.
And carry on with the flow.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Devon, your field of business is a different kind of idea to most countries. like for basically Sri Lanka, a lot of people have not thought about this kind of a idea because you are dealing with foreign relations. You are doing your business in a foreign country. You're here, but your business is in a different country. So that kind of connection, how to keep that connection and how to keep that momentum going through when you are in two different places. Yeah. How to be that kind of a, how to build up that kind of a system.
So it depends on throughout experience, you learn about culture, rules, and regulations of certain people. And by communicating to them in the right manner, you'll understand them.
Yeah.
So the experience will give you the knowledge.
Yeah.
And as you said, my firm is in UK. How am I able to do it from Sri Lanka? There are way advanced technologies has been there. Calling systems, CRM systems. So it's easy for us to manage and communicate. Nowadays, when the COVID hits, most people tend to do everything online.
Yeah.
So that process has been implemented as a new strategy for our business purpose as well, where we implemented that in my organization plans as well. So when I implemented that, it's easy and convenient because time is the most precious thing of people. All right. So we need to find a way to do every process quickly and able to get the clients on board quickly. So that's what we do actually. So for each problems, as you said, we have a solution for it, which is the quickest way possible and convenient way possible as well for the moving forward time. And doing a business abroad is not easy. Okay, you need to follow the rules and regulation of the government. So when it comes to UK government-wise, it's very strict. Nothing comparing to Sri Lankan government and everything. So we have to stick their rules and regulation and follow their protocols. That's which very mandatory for us. So which we have local people, lawyers who are there assisting throughout the process. So through networking itself, I will be able to find those people. So they advise me on certain things. So we are still following the protocols on it. And based on it, we are just continuing the process of our firm.
Yeah, of course. And when you're talking about these firms and all the businesses and stuff, I got to know that like the whole system is based on the creator. So the creator's qualities, attitudes, and all of those things is the basis of that whole system.
Exactly.
If you are not able to grow yourself, if you don't have the growth mindset, you won't be able to run a proper system. Like you won't be able to update that loopholes in a system.
Yep.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, the summary is the whole system is based on the attitudes and the qualities of the creator.
Exactly.
Yeah. Devon, how did you get the exposure for your line of work? First of all.
Well, the exposure is actually, I said, from my previous workplace.
Yeah.
And the important thing is actually what I learned throughout those phases. Like everyone should know your name, from clients, from janitor to the CEO. So if you're able to build a good networking,
Yeah.
and if you have the experience, like from each processes, like by doing each processes, you'll be able to like do things on your own. All right. So when you see the bigger picture there, so you know how the process you can make it like quickly and easily. So when I work there now, when it comes to certain campaigns, my clients, UK clients, used to call my name to run the campaign because I build a really professional like relationship with them. So for that, even when I actually said that I want to start my own firm and would you like to invest, they are ready to provide me a contract and they're ready to sign me up because they need clients, I need opportunity, and both come together and negotiate it and we build it from there. So the important thing is networking.
Networking.
From a janitor to the CEO, make sure they know your name. If you're able to have a very good networking, you'll be able to like work anywhere and start any businesses and stay in the highest level always.
So for the most part, networking is the most crucial part in any business. It's like the growth, even the startup is solely based on the networking part.
Exactly.
Yeah. So as the journey progresses, you may have faced many struggles. Yeah. That is completely normal.
Yeah.
So what are the struggles you have faced?
I would say still we are facing struggles, not like we're not going to face. So the struggles was from the day I started.
Yeah.
You don't know what situation you're going to be in. To be honest, the economic crisis came out of nowhere and hit us really bad for the first business. So for that, we have to come out of it. And the second thing is financial. You don't have the financial stability when you're starting your own business. You have to rely on people who are actually closer by to you, either family for the financial matters, or you have to take a loan from certain places to start up your own. So I would not suggest you to take a loan. I would suggest you to make a saving from working or borrow it from your family member. In that way, it's easy for you to pay them back or use it for your own startup. And the financial problem was then also when it comes to doing like certain campaigns, you need higher budget. Because if you're working with UK clients, the amount range is going to be over 20, 30 million per month actually. So I didn't have those funds. So the first struggle is, I would say, financial struggle, which I faced. So for that, I had to borrow money from my brother, and I used my savings, entire savings as well. So I took a risk there. I used my entire savings to that, and I was able to come out of top. So when I did the first sale and able to close a lot of files, and we were able to get paid in a higher rate, that means 3 times higher than the money that I invested in. So in that scenario, I was really happy, and also I was able to give the money back to the people I have borrowed from. So financial stability is the first struggle that you face. The second thing is reliable team.
Reliability.
So reliable team wise, now you need to have a reliable team when you're actually working towards a goal. So the reliable team can be your friend, your family member, or actually a person you do not know, an unknown person. So in my difficulty was in my times, when I started this, so the reliable team, when the first business got failed, they didn't have the same vision like me.
Yeah.
So the vision, they should share the same vision as like yours. If they're able to share the same vision, only they'll be able to continue to stay, and you can have the trust in it. So in my scenario, it didn't happen. They unfortunately leave due to the personal reason. I didn't spoke to them after because they actually ghosted me for some time. So I got really disappointed that time. So, but anyway, it's their life, and I wish them very well, and their choices. So that is the second thing, building a reliable team that time. And then afterwards, the competitors always is, coming after you. Because if you do something unique or different, always the competitors actually, coming behind you and doing what you're doing. That means copying your work. So you have to be aware of that as well. And even though they're copying, there are certain things that you can keep unique, which is the process and the knowledge that you process. So if you have that differently, you'll be outperform the companies. You can outperform anybody. It won't be a problem at all. So these are the 3 difficulties that I faced initial stage, because your competitors have huge experience in the field. They have past 10, 15 years or 20 years experience. We're just starting it. So there are around 500, 600 companies are there. So I have to compete with them. So that is the competition that I had. So as per the problematic things wise, these are the initial problems that I faced. Then afterwards, one after another, because there were problems with financials, because economic crisis was I couldn't able to transfer funds from UK, and because all the financial system has been locked down by the Sri Lankan government. So that's kind of another problem, and I wouldn't be able to take the funds from UK to Sri Lankan account, because whatever profit that I gain, it was harder for me. So I need to find a financial platform for me, segregately, and non-entity of government, and it was like a personal family member, transfer the funds to him and transfer the funds back to me, whatever profit that I gain for my sales. So that's another thing. And apart from that, actually working from home. Now, I used to work in a town, which is called Pusalla. That's my hometown. And that's where I started this firm idea, the UK education marketing firm. So when I worked there, internet is a problematic thing, because not every place has a very good internet. And I used a very old laptop equipments and everything, so I didn't have proper services for certain things. So and apart from that, when it comes to travel wise, support that you needed, certain areas, like the only support that I had is myself, not a third party member able to give me advice on certain things. Mentoring wasn't not there. So those are the struggles that I faced when I started it. And now when I actually builded it and certain people got to know about it, now I have all the reliability, and they were giving more advices on it. So they are providing advices, but I'll be able to take it from them, and then I'll be able to establish in my firm. So when there's a problem, I was able to like find solution on my own rather than like asking a third person. But if it's not able to solve by me, I'd be asking from that my mentor to solve the problem. So in the earlier stages, I didn't have the mentor, but now I do. So that's the difference now.
So the summary of the story is like that. If you're building a team, it must be a reliable team.
Exactly.
And the second one is invest in people and
Yeah.
money will come.
Exactly.
Yeah. You have to always invest in people because that's the main foundation for a successful startup or anything.
Exactly.
Even in a family also.
Yeah.
If you can trust your family,
Yeah.
then you got the most strongest force
Yeah.
you have to do anything. Yeah. So as a leader, what are you most afraid of?
Failing to inspire my teammates and failing to achieve the targets which is provided my clients.
Yeah.
Because those are the most fears that I have at the moment. Because there are a bunch of people who believes in you
Yeah.
and coming behind you and asking for advice and guidances. So you'll be able to give them the best advice possible and best guidance and best skill developments in certain areas. So even if they're not working in here, in future, if they're working from somewhere else, they should be a good candidate for that organization. So that is what I'm afraid of, like giving them the guidance, what they require sometimes. So because I'm not experienced yet, because I'm only 28 years old, so I'm yet to learn a lot,
Yeah, of course.
but giving the guidance that they require. And that is an important thing. So the second thing I mentioned about meeting the business goals, that means clients' requirements. So clients' requirement wise, we always get new clients. Some clients will stay, some clients will leave. So we'll always meet their expectations. So reliability was there. Now, when I'm starting with 2 clients, so the reliability was there. They're still working with me. So I was able to now build up to 9 because of the trust and loyalty that we have. So we should able to like follow that from our end as well, and we should always be able to deliver the number what they're requesting for. We never like give a false numbers. We never like give them a hope on certain things. We always give what is practically possible, and if we're able to deliver that and they're happy, and they'll be able to continue to work with us for a long time.
Yeah.
So that is 2 important things for me.
So, in a mental perspective, how to be headstrong in any challenge that you're faced?
Headstrong is actually not possible all the time.
Yeah.
Because some problems will actually spin your head for a couple of days. You could not able to find a solution. So all you can do is stay patient and get good advice from the mentors. Mentors are the key factors. Now, the real-time job experience people who have done startup businesses or who are already in the business world. So you get expert like advice from them. And from the advisors, you just able to solve one problem after another. And having good mentor is a key. So in my case, I have a brother, but he's actually in abroad and working for a firm. And another cousin is from India. So he's a business person. He has multiple businesses. So if I have a struggle or something, I just give him a call and I'll send them a message asking, this is what's happening. What is the alternative solution for that? So they'll be able to assist me on it. All right. So that is one of the key things. If not, you'll be able to attend some events, organization events and seminars. So if you're able to attend that, you can get the exposure from them as well. And from that, you'll be able to use that to your problems. And also you can keep your head strong as well in this scenario. It'll give you more exposure, more ideas.
Is it always necessary to take a calculated risk? Okay.
Calculated risks are actually like for the person who wants to play it in a secure way.
Yeah.
When I started this, I didn't like make any calculated risk.
Yeah.
I just jumped in.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the calculations and other aspects doesn't matter. When you have a hunger for success, sometimes you don't do the maths, you don't do the financial planning, you don't do anything. You just want to jump in and see what's an outcome. That's okay. Failure, that's all right. You can come out of it. Anyone can come out of it. It won't be a problem at all. But if you succeed, that's a different story. That's a story to tell for the next generation.
Yeah.
So that is the important thing. So calculated risk, I don't actually do that when I did it. But now, once I established as a firm, now I will make the calculated risk because based on like my future requirements and my client's expectation, because now I have employees. So I have to make a good future for them as well. So when I have taking the risks in certain aspect, I always keep a reserve, backup plans and everything, one after another. So if I have the backup plan only, if the plan A goes fail, you can go with the plan B and able to solve the problem. So calculated risk, when I did it for the start, I mean, when I'm starting the firm, I didn't take it. But now when I'm established as a firm, I have to take it because responsibilities are higher now compared to earlier. Earlier, I was the only person working. Now I established with multiple people. So in that case, now it matters. Earlier it does.
So when you were talking about investment plans, backup plans, how to sustain them in long term?
So when I'm actually having investment plan and financial plans and everything, so you have to invest in different businesses.
Yeah.
You can't stick to one business all the time and expect it to like keep on like revenue and cash all the time. You need to invest in other areas as well. So as I said in the earlier, I'll be investing, like my ultimate goal is to start in other sectors as well. So now I'm bringing a healthcare sector from actually India to Sri Lanka. And the next phase is going to be afterwards an IT company, then in future, another 3 years time in marketing. So that's why we are establishing it now itself for our requirement. So you always have to invest in multiple businesses. In that case, the cash flow will come in automatically. So if one got failure or hung up or something, you can able to get the other one up and running. So it's easy that way. You can able to sustain and also make financial plans wise, long-term investments, buy lands, those stuff. Don't rely on liabilities. Don't buy vehicles and stuff and think of it as assets. It's not. So always keep a segregated income from your end, so you can able to invest that in the business as well, or you invest in other businesses as well. So it's your decision end of the day. So you choose it wisely. So my decision wise, these are the ones that I mentioned. Invest in other businesses and then invest in certain properties, these things. So you can keep it for long-term investment and you can utilize that for your future.
So Devon, what is your advice when you start a business? Is it smart to start another more streams of businesses, or just wait a little while, just make the strong basement from your business, the main business, and then start other subsidiary businesses?
Exactly as you said. First, you have to build a foundation, the steady income. So after you have the financial freedom, you can directly start the other businesses because that is the next phase should be. Because earlier, for the earlier question, I said that you have to sustain it like the first business. So after doing that, the second business wise, you can directly start with the first business actually incomes and do it the second ones. So foundation is the key. The first business should be solid and all the employees should work towards the same goal. And if that is happening, you can focus on another business and building a new team and getting new employees and building that as well. So obviously, if you have the experience of doing the first one, the second one is going to be more easy. And the third one is going to be even more easy. So that's how you should be.
And another thing, Devon, when you are employing people, do you focus only about the character, or do you focus on the skill, or both?
I don't see characteristic. I just look for the skillful people. Because I always see the best in people and what I can bring to the firm and what I can do to them to improve themselves. And if I see that and if I'm able to get the right candidate for that, I'll be hiring them anyway. And I'll be giving the good package and good commission structure and able to provide them with a good future. So that's what I look at it in people. And if I have that, I'll be getting that person on board no matter what. Because certain people are worth more than, money, because they'll be able to bring certain things which is lacking in your team. So that's what I'm looking at.
The light in people.
Exactly.
Always we have to remember, invest in people, not money. When you invest in people, the money will come.
Exactly. That's the important thing. So when you actually invest in people, the people will able to work towards your company's numbers and the cash revenue will always follow. Don't get people who want to for the sales perspective and who are money minded things. If you have that, you always chase after money, you're not going to get it. So if you want the cash to come in, you are able to help people or build people. In that case, the cash revenue will automatically come in.
So Devon, adaptation, as we talked earlier, and improvisation. So These things are very crucial. Can we elaborate it more in a business perspective?
Okay, adaptation and improvising. Adaptation and improvising actually, in my business world, I can say that when I actually started the food business and got failed, and it because of the economic crisis.
Yeah.
And when the economic crisis hit us, it was really bad. And from that, I didn't like believed and continued that actual business because I know that it's going to be a failure because you never know when it's going to end. The economic crisis it's going to continue for a long time. So for that, I have improvised into a different thing, which is the marketing firm, which is in the education field in UK. So that came in after adapting to the situation, and the problem is not going to be like for a small time, it's going to be for a long time. And I understood that, and I improvised in a different way, in a different form. So that is why you always have to adapt to certain situation which you're not comfortable, which you're not sure, and the decision should be based on your future and your company's future. So based on you have to decide and move on. From my case, switching from a food business to education marketing firm.
So the thing is, don't wait. The more you wait, the more you waste your time.
Exactly.
Just start the startup. Even if it fails, you will learn something, and that learned knowledge will fuel you in the long run.
Exactly.
So start now. That's the advice you're going to give.
Exactly correct.
So your business is solely based on foreign country. So as for the time zones, you have to adapt yourself to those symptoms. You have to like change your sleep cycles, your eating habits, your whole life cycle should be changed. How did you adapt to those kind of changes?
Of course, we have to adapt to it. Otherwise, we can't keep our clients happy, right? So obviously, we need to work in these hours as per client requirement because UK people wise, they tend to work from like start the work from 9, from their 9 instance. For us, it's 2. So we are working from 2 to 10:30. And I think it's manageable, 2 to 10:30. It's not like evening 6 p.m. to early morning 4 p.m. So this is like one of the convenient time. And also, there are certain habits that we don't have to follow as per the UK people. In Sri Lankan culture-wise, the food and stylings and everything you can follow as per it because you're not meeting the clients face-to-face. You're meeting to them over the call and over the actually, Zooms, live video chats and everything. So in the scenario, it's not a requirement.
Yeah.
But when it comes to certain aspect might change in your life, which is what time you eat, what time you sleep in certain ways. But in UK timing wise, it's not the issue most of the time because we always follow the same protocols like a Sri Lankan people. And for US timing, if you are working only, you will have to change everything. Like the time you eat, the time you have the lunch, the time you have the dinner, the breakfast, everything. Because the time is going to be 6 p.m. to early morning for those other timings. So sometimes for US hours, you have to change. For UK hours, I don't think you have to. It's similar like a difference between around 5-6 hours, that's it. So for this, I don't think much changes to be needed.
So Tibor, as you're talking about your business is in a different country. So human interaction must always be online.
Yep.
Yeah. So you have to get the max out of those kind of interactions. So when you're meeting someone physically, you're bonding more. But that same bonding you must give to the person who is connecting you through online.
Yep.
So how you do that?
So it's a bit of a difficult thing to do it because we do not have the employees there who have the consultation experience and to do it. So the future plan is to establish that there's no doubt in it. We have to have a firm there where people can come and meet and have a conversation face to face. Okay. So at the moment, what we are doing is an alternative solution, Zoom and live calls. So if we're able to do that, they will have the trust and belief in them, and also check with them via WhatsApp and over the phone lines and everything, time to time. So in that case, they have the bonding and reliability there where they can really provide. Yeah. And also now student journeys. That means people who have actually been with us in the past times, they'll be able to provide certain video testimonials. Yeah. So we'll be able to provide those testimonials to people to have the trust and the reliability. Yeah. So if we have that, we can able to sustain for some time. Having the physical, interference is mandatory, but in time, we have to build that, and we need to actually talk to people. And so in that case, we can do more closings.
So Devon, how to divide your finance and spend accordingly in a business?
So what I can tell you is now, when it comes to financial balance wise, when you have the first profit as a startup entrepreneur, if you're running the business by yourself, make sure whatever profits that you're gaining, you divide it into two categories. The first is reinvestment, and the second is investing on certain items. So the reinvestment wise, you have to first reinvest in the business itself. The other investment is actually in your future, either to improve your skills or to buy certain stocks or to buy certain lands or anything which is valuable for you. So buy assets, and first, most of all, and don't buy liabilities.
Yeah.
Don't buy luxury items. Don't do that. If you do that, you're going to face a lot of troubles. It's okay to buy in the future, but when you're starting up running it, don't. That's the biggest mistake that you make.
So, Devon, have you read any books or study materials that to gain that kind of a knowledge in order to sustain your startup?
To be honest, I would have loved to read a lot of books because there was a lot of great people who wrote great books. But those are their lifestyles and their ideologies and everything. So if I have to have adventure on my own, I have to build it on my own. So the reading part, I didn't do it because all the exposure that I get from the people who have worked in the same field, and I was able to acquire knowledge by facing problems. If you're able to solve everything by reading a book, what's the adventure then? You need to have some kind of exposure out of the book. So the real life is more adventuring and daring. And if you're a person who wants to read a book, I would suggest you to read it. But if you want to feel the real life experience, don't. So I'm basically most like a real life experience. So for that, I didn't read the book, but I would love to.
Mentorship is the best and the most efficient way to learn real life problems other than reading books. Reading books is not bad, and it is actually very good.
Good.
But the thing is that kind of knowledge, you have to apply it in practical life. So when it comes to that, you have to be more smart and you have to think more. So having a mentor is one of the most crucial things. When you're doing a startup or a business or anything.
Exactly. One of the reason is actually because most books writers are from abroad, Western countries.
Yeah, of course.
Only few are in Sri Lanka, an Asian country. So whatever the circumstance that we are going through, financial difficulties, COVID, government issue, political issues, struggling to buy certain items, and daily life going harder for each people. For that, the way of living is different comparing to them and us. So we need to make our own book. So when we make our own book only, we'll be able to see the differences and the struggles that we have faced. From the books that has been made from abroad people, their lifestyle is different, their culture is different, the opportunity is different.
So Devon, what is the best advice that you can give to an entrepreneur who's in their 20s, who's just learning?
So what I want to tell you for an entrepreneur in their 20s is actually, so you are in the starting phase now. So in your 20s, you got to run. You have to run to achieve your dreams. If you can't run, you better learn to walk. And if you can't walk, you better crawl. Because in your 20s, if you can't do it, in your 30s and your 40s, it'll be harder for you. So go for your dreams, follow it, pursue it, run for it.
So in this episode, we have discussed about how to start a startup, how to sustain long-term investment plans, and how to have backup plans for your backup plans, how to adapt and evolve through different kind of business environments, and how to be a good leader, and much more. So as the famous scientist Albert Einstein once said, imagination is more important than knowledge. So imagine your dream, work hard for it. Even if you fail, you will learn something from it and start again. That knowledge will fuel you in the long run. So we hope that you got the best out of this interview, this discussion, and we hope that you would make the best in your business career. Work hard, think smart, and you will definitely win. I'm Pawan Ratnayake, and thank you for watching Ceylon Master Mind. Thank you.
Thank you.